Welcome to Module 1, Cause and Effect of Workplace Conflict. Today's lesson will be the foundation for all upcoming modules, so please be sure to be intentional and engaged as you progress through this lesson. Take notes and write down questions you may have. They may even help you out on your end of module quiz. Before we can identify workplace conflict, we must be able to identify it. So what is workplace conflict? Workplace conflict is defined as a sharp disagreement or opposition of interest or ideas occurring at work. This type of conflict is inevitable and occurs at all organizations. Would you be able to recognize when conflict is arising at work? So as mentioned, it is incredibly important for leaders to know when conflict is arising and to intervene early. So we will take a moment to view the following scenario and think about what caused this conflict and how it's affecting their workplace.
Emily is the chief of mission of a medium-sized office. On top of her duties, she and her team are running a very important project, and its deadline is approaching. The team gets along well and begins their day with a coffee meeting.
We are making good progress. Remember, we have to finish the project on time.
So now that you've seen here on this side the video, and you've taken the time to watch that on your own, I want you to really think about what happened in this scenario and how the leader managed this conflict. Now, this scenario may or may not have been an exact example of something that you've experienced at work. However, we all have experienced some type of issue and did not know the best way to respond to it, like the manager. It is important to note that while the manager did have good intentions with trying to mitigate the conflict via email, it did backfire, causing more tension. She took the time to reach out to her peers to get some advice and gain insight into what the next best step could be for her team. After the manager reflected and made a plan, the team was able to work through their problems and identified what was the cause of the conflict. We will talk more about the causes on the next slide. If you did not get a chance to complete that video on your own, take a moment to go back and review it. Causes of workplace conflict. Just like in the scenario that we saw on the previous slide, it was important for the manager to understand what was causing the conflict between her two employees. Some of the common causes of workplace conflict include the following: personality differences, poor communication, unmet needs in the workplace, perceived inequities of resources, unclarified roles in the workplace, especially as we saw in the video, difference in age, sex, race, and poor management and performance. Also take a look to your right of the graphic that's included to see other causes of workplace conflict that does exist. Now that you understand what causes workplace conflict, we can identify the effects of workplace conflict. When conflict occurs at the workplace, it leads to undesirable results such as work disruptions, decreased productivity, project failure, absenteeism, turnover and termination, and emotional stress. Boy, I would not want to work in this environment. Take a look at this infographic that we've included that shows statistics about workplace conflict. We see here on the left that feelings surrounding workplace conflict is almost always negative. A lot of the common words are frustration, drama, petty, inefficient, gossip, and that is at a staggering 90% of responses being negative. This essentially leads to stress for all parties, and we see here that 70% of managers said that the conflict negatively impacts the efficiency of their department, causing them to spend over 3 hours a week just dealing with conflicts. This leads for stress for managers, which therefore could also create negative relationships in the workplace. And lastly, turnover is not desired. However, with conflict comes the need for employees to leave, as it creates an unhealthy work environment. 69% of people said their job satisfaction would improve if their coworkers handled conflict more effectively. This is why it is so important that managers identify conflict as it arises and intervene early. So, how are you feeling after taking in all that information? It is a lot of information, but take the time now to reflect and think about a time when you experienced conflict at work. How did you address it, and what could you have done differently? Did you think your personal conflicts could impact your workplace so greatly? Why or why not? Pause this video and take a moment to reflect. Congratulations, you've made it to the end of your course. Take some time to review the course takeaways and remember the following. Workplace conflict is inevitable and occurs at all organizations. Workplace conflict is caused by differences in personalities, poor communication, inequities, and poor management and performance, just to name a few. This doesn't mean that those are the only causes, but these are the most common that many organizations experience. Workplace conflict affects businesses negatively and creates tension, leading to high turnover, poor morale, and emotional stress. Management and employees must be educated on conflict management strategies in order to mitigate conflict at work. All right, now you've officially reached the end. Your upcoming module covers common workplace conflicts. So now that you understand what causes conflict and how it affects the workplace, you will most likely identify some workplace conflict examples in this module that you've experienced personally. Complete your Lesson 1 quiz to progress to the next module.